using the backlash around Trump's event last night to make his final pitch to voters. It's interesting because he's had this total shift in messaging, sort of attacking Trump and then saying that he wouldn't do that again. Is it resonating today?
Well, I think in terms of the attacks, what he's done is, Poppy, he's just shifted the tone of the attacks. No longer are the attacks personal like we saw in the past, as you know. But what we're seeing now, he's keeping it on policy, looking at the bigger picture, saying that at least today, saying that comparing Donald Trump to a dictator, saying given what's happened in Chicago and other incidents as well, he says at this point he's not sure if he can support him as the nominee. Very serious statement there. And what was also interesting, Poppy, is he didn't just place blame on Trump. He also seemed to place blame on the media for what's going on as well.
For too long, those comments were ignored. Some people thought they're cute. And he's got an extraordinary amount of coverage for all the stuff he says that's outrageous. Every time Donald Trump offends someone, says something ridiculous, says something offensive, it's wall-to-wall coverage, and it's only elevated him even more.
Now, here's what's interesting about that. I also spoke to a Rubio supporter who had the sort of opposite point of view, Poppy, basically telling me that he did not believe the media was doing enough, in his words, to expose Trump for who he is. But here's the reality of what's going on here in Florida. If Rubio has any hope of stopping Trump, he's got to do it right here. He's got to do it Tuesday. And as you know, those polls show Trump leading in the polls. And the Rubio camp says we don't believe those polls. But having said that, out here today at this meet and greet and at every campaign stop we've seen him here in Florida, he is encouraging his supporters to get out and to vote early. Poppy?
Well, not just leading in the polls. I mean, leading in the polls by a vast margin. I mean, when you look at these Republican polls, I'm looking at 4 right now where he is up by at least 16 points. Are you getting a sense there, Jason, why that is? I mean, here's someone who's the home state senator. Do they feel like he hasn't had the leadership in the Senate? What is it that they're turning away from him?
There are a couple things. First, once again, the Rubio camp believes that those polls aren't correct, and if they do show Trump up ahead, they're not. He's not as ahead in terms of that amount of points. So that's first. Second, in terms of why Rubio is not doing better in his home state, if the polls are correct. I've spoken to people, Poppy, in this northern part of the state, the southern part of the state, east, west, all over, and here's what I'm getting. Basically, there are a number of people here in the state who at one point supported Rubio for the Senate, liked what he had to say, believed he was going to go into the Senate and speak to what they wanted to hear. And there's a feeling that he didn't accomplish that he did not do that. And so I think that's why you see him struggling here in his home state. Once again, if those polls are accurate, that could be part of the reason why.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes you wonder, Jason, because he had sort of the lowest turnout record for senators last year in all of 2015 when it came to actually being present for votes in Washington, which he got a lot of criticism for. You wonder if that is affecting him now come to this home state vote on Tuesday. Jason Carroll live for us there in Tampa. Thank you so much. I want to take you to Kansas City, Missouri.